Hey everybody, it's Cindy here, and it's great to be with you. Today I'm going to talk about worrying. I know a lot of you are worry warts out there, and I'd like to give you something to chew on today to maybe help you release some of the things that you worry about. For one thing, the research says that 95% of the things that we worry about never happen. Like never happen ever. Okay, so I'm a mother, and like I know some common parental fears are that our children, something will happen to our children, and this does happen sometimes. That's in that 5% that it can happen, but 95% of the time it doesn't. And then things like your house burning down, or getting attacked in the store parking lot, or the car breaking down in the winter and freezing to death, or the plane crashing, things like that. Those things do happen, and I understand that, but most of the time they don't. And the other piece of that is worrying about them happening won't keep them from happening or make them happen. Like it's not going to affect if something is going to happen or not. So anyway, so more often than not, though, what people are worrying about is not those extremes, but more like worrying about what other people think. And you might be saying in your mind right now, oh, I don't worry about what other people think of me. I don't worry about that at all. And I'm thinking, I bet you do. Like some really obvious ways in our daily lives is like if you're going somewhere to meet someone, or going to a party or an event of some sort, and you're thinking about, if you're really obsessing about what you're wearing, oh, I'm not sure I should wear this. Should I change my clothes? What about this? Or how does my hair look? Or ooh, I'm not sure I should go out like this. That is you worrying about what other people think about how you look. Okay. And then have you ever, are you someone who doesn't let people come over to your house? And why is that? Are you worried about what they're going to think about how you live? Whether you don't keep a clean house, or whether you are not filthy rich, or, maybe you think your space is not good enough for other people, or that they're going to judge you based on something they see in your house. That's also worrying about what other people think. And then what about some of the decisions you make? Yeah. What career did you choose? Did you choose a career you really wanted? Or did you choose a career because somebody in your life really pressured you or made you believe that you needed to do it? Or who did you marry? Or who are you dating? Or, who are your friends? You might choose people in your life based on feedback from other people instead of trusting your own decision making or perspective on that. So there's all kinds of ways that we worry about what other people think, right? So so let's talk about that a little bit. First of all, you cannot control what other people think of you. You can't. They're going to decide for themselves what they think of you no matter what. It's kind of like worrying about the weather. You can't control the weather either. The weather's going to be what it's going to be, and so worrying about it only wastes your energy and puts you in a negative space, because anytime we're worrying, that is a fear-based emotion. So it chips away at our positivity, it chips away at our emotional energy. Even our physical energy can be depleted by worry. You may not sleep as well at night if you're worrying. So really look at the things that you're focusing on that you do worry about. And if there are things you can't control, which most of it you cannot, then it's very important to consider letting it go. Because if you live in a worry space a lot of the time of your life, it will affect you physically and emotionally, and could hurt your relationships, your mental health, and things like that too. So divide up, what can I control and what can I not control? And the things you can control, then focus on that. And if you don't like what you're thinking about some things and you have some control over them, then it's time to make some adjustments. Remember that when people are making judgments of you, or telling you they think you're crazy for a decision you've made or something like that, and you're worrying about what they think. Remember that their their response to you and their feedback to you, their judgment of you, is from their perspective and really is more of a reflection of where they are in their own lives than it is a reflection of who you really are. It's coming from their filter, their perspective, where they're at in their life right now. And so it may or may not be accurate at all. So be really careful not to take things personally that other people fling in your direction. And you might ask yourself privately, I wonder what's going on with that person that they are judging me right now for this decision. Okay? You cannot control them anyway. What you can control is how much or how little you let other people's judgments of you concern you, and how much you worry about that, how much energy you give to worrying about it or even thinking about it. So, way back in 1989, I had the opportunity to take a college trip to Israel, which the Middle East was a war zone then, much like it is now. And so it wasn't the most popular touristy place, right? But this was a college organized trip. And it cost $2,500 in 1989, which honestly, even then, was probably a very, very good price for an 18, 20-day trip, something like that. That was all of our expenses. But to me, $2,500 was a lot of money. I was a senior in college, and I didn't have a lot of money, and it was a stretch for me to come up with it for this trip. But I really wanted to go there. Well, some of the people in my life were very worried about that decision, and they judged my decision and thought I was being foolish to go over to a war zone for a college trip and to spend money that way at that time, when in a few months after that I would be graduating from college and may need a lot of startup expenses to start out my life. So I had a lot of people worrying about my thinking there and worrying about my safety, and a lot of people judging that decision. But guess what? I felt like it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I felt like it was more economically possible than a trip later would be. I wanted to experience it with the person I was dating at the time in college and other friends, and I went for it. I mean, I was willing to go the extra mile to do it. I had to work 5 jobs. I had to move off campus and live in an old apartment, which was much cheaper for me for a semester, so I saved some money. I borrowed some money from a couple for just a few months because I had to pay for the trip ahead of time and didn't have time to make all the money and time for all the payments up front. So I found some friends that loaned me a chunk of it, and then had to work until I had them paid back. And I really had to just not concern myself with what some of these other people in my life were thinking, because if I would have listened to them, I would have missed one of the highlights of my life. Actually, that trip was incredible. It was incredible, and we were safe the whole time, and the memories will last me forever. So I just want you worrywarts out there to take a good hard look at what you're worrying about now and ask yourself, what I'm worrying about can I control, and what can I not control? And if you cannot control it, do your best to let go of the worry. And if you can control what you're worrying about, then ask yourself what you need to do to be more at peace with something, make some adjustments, and above all, do not worry about what other people think of you. Be you. Be true to yourself. Be authentic. Live honestly, and your life will work out best for you. So anyway, I hope you have a great day. I hope this was helpful, and I'll talk to you again soon.